right. So, what's going on, everybody? So, as you guys can see, I'm riding the 2024 BMW F800GS, and this is basically my real first impressions. I made a video, well, my previous videos was of the first impressions, but I basically only rode from the dealer to the freeway and then from the freeway to my house because it was late in the day and I needed to get home. So testing the bike out, and right now I'm basically like going over the bumps to see how it feels so I can test the suspension. The bike has like less than 20 miles on it, I believe. I don't even know how to check the miles yet, but so far I really like this bike. And for you guys that watch for the two of you that watch the videos, follow the channel, you're probably wondering, I just bought a 2025 Indian Scout, so what happened to that bike? Well, I sold it, but I'll make a separate video on why, and we'll get to that later. Today we're just gonna focus on this bike and my real impressions on it, my first impressions, and see. And so far the suspension is really good. I mean, it's day and night. When you ride a cruiser and then you get on a bike like this, you cannot feel the bumps. So comparing to a cruiser, even to the Yamaha MT-09, which was another taller-ish bike that I had, right? But it was a sports bike, so the suspension was harder than this. This feels very comfortable to ride on. So going over any bumps, very smooth. I rode it on the freeway and it was just, let's do a stop here. And here we go. So when I get to a stop like this, it kind of feels a little bit heavy if I tilt it too much to one side or the other. So being short, I gotta be a little bit careful with that because I don't want to drop the bike. But it's easy enough for me to put one foot down. I can tiptoe both feet down, having it on the lowest suspension settings. And I'm about 5'6", 5'7" for reference for you guys. I believe about a 30 inch seam. But yeah, the bike is very comfortable. So when riding on the freeway, the wind protection is non-existent. This windscreen doesn't do anything for the bike. So if you need or want some wind protection, plan on buying a windscreen for this bike. I already bought one. It's supposed to arrive on Monday. Today is a Saturday, so 2 days from now. So far, bike is very smooth. Quick shifter, very good. I'm riding on dynamic mode. Road mode has a little bit less power, I could feel. So dynamic feels more natural to me because I'm used to the Indian Scout always being on sports mode. And the Yamaha MT-09 that I had previously. But road mode is very smooth, very tamed. Dynamic still smooth enough, and quick shifter is very smooth. So dynamic is still smooth enough, but you can feel like if you give it a little more throttle, the bike will respond pretty quick. Quick shifter is very good up and down. I gotta relax a little bit because the bike has new tires. But yeah, so far very nimble. The seat feels pretty comfortable. I mean, it feels like my entire butt is covered. You know, like I don't need any more seat than this. I don't know how it'll be for long distances, but I can tell already that it's gonna be more comfortable than the Indian Scout seat. The controls, they're pretty, I mean, they're decent in a, like, on the order that they're set up, but the turn signal feels a little bit far for me, especially if I'm trying to reach the clutch, which my hands have to be further out. I can't really reach the turn signal, so that's kind of weird to me. I'm sure I'll get used to it. But yeah, the bike has very good power. It feels very nimble. I mean, I can't explain it. It's something that I've never felt before. I don't know if other adventure bikes are like this too, but the comfort is on another level. Very different than anything I've ever ridden before. So if you guys don't know, I basically had a Yamaha. I've had a Yamaha Boat, I've had a Yamaha MT-07, I've had a Yamaha MT-09, and an Indian Scout. And this is very different than anything I've ridden before. The sitting position is very upright. My knees are bent, but they're like below me in a way that they're not behind me, like the MT-09 was. So I feel like they're bent in a way that it's not gonna hurt on long trips. It feel like it's still gonna be comfortable enough for me to go on long trips, which is very nice. But they're still in a position that's good enough that allows me to stand on the pegs if I want to, and ride a little bit more sporty. Not that this bike's supposed to be a sports bike, but the sitting position is very comfortable, very nice for any type of riding, really. If you want to chill, if you want to ride a little bit faster. It's not too sporty, not too laid back. I'm sitting very upright, so windscreen is going to be a must for me. I like to have some wind protection. Very nice to have hand guards on the bike. So basically I got a deal on the bike because it's a 2024 model. I got a deal that it came with the Vario top case for the same price as the bike if I was gonna buy it without anything. So got it for that same price, and it comes with the premium package with the dynamic suspension, with the whole thing. It comes with heated grips. It literally has all of the technology, and that's really awesome. I really like that. So far I'm really enjoying the way the bike rides, the technology that it has, being able to switch the suspension if I want to on the go. So let's say, like, if I decide to take my wife out for a little ride, I can change the suspension so it'll, you know, be enough for both of us. The exhaust is very quiet, very quiet, which I don't mind actually. I love the sound of a nice exhaust, but it's nice to have a little bit of peace in your ears every now and then when you're riding. So Eventually in the future I might change it and get something louder, but for now I'm enjoying a little bit of quietness. So being a short rider, the bike has been easy enough for me to handle. I do have some getting used to, again, to riding tall bikes. I gotta get used to that again. It's something that you can manage with time, you know, putting one foot down when you get to stops, learning how to park on specific ways and be able to get the bike out after, because not being able to put your feet down, you can't just sit on the bike and roll it out. So yeah, those are little things that taller people don't have to think about, but us being short, you know, you have to be aware of those. But yeah, so far, I don't know how many miles it'll do per tank because I haven't ridden the bike enough. I don't know what that is, so I pressed it to see. There is a place that I can change. Okay, so supposedly I have 168 miles on the tank. I've been riding it pretty mellow. I've only taken the Freeway yesterday. I'm noticing right now, today is 71 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm noticing some heat on the left leg. It's not terrible. It's less than the Indian Scout had on the right leg. The Indian Scout got really hot. I test rode the bike on the freeway yesterday on the way back. I was not going too hard on the throttle because the bike is new. And I've noticed that on road mode, well, I couldn't figure out at that time how to switch to dynamic mode, so I didn't ride the bike on dynamic mode on the freeway. But on road mode, it kind of felt like it lacked a little bit of power, doing like 75 plus miles per hour compared to the Indian Scout. But the Indian Scout also had a larger engine. But I believe it might have been because I was on road mode and I didn't downshift to try to, you know, I didn't go higher on the RPMs and I didn't go crazy on the throttle. But riding the bike now on dynamic, after I figure out how to change the dynamic, I feel like it's gonna have plenty of power. So I'm gonna switch over to this lane here. Yeah, I feel like the bike is gonna have plenty of power. I'm gonna hop on the freeway for a little bit just to see. You guys are probably not gonna enjoy that, so I'm gonna skip. Yes, as you guys can see, the wind protection is not good, so I'm sure it got pretty loud when I rode there. And but the bike seems to have plenty of power. I feel like I just wasn't pushing it hard enough, but if I get higher on the RPMs, it does show the power. I'm really digging the quick shifter. Very good quick shifter. Bike is very stable through turns. The nicest thing is that the bumps feel like nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna slow down so you guys can hear me. So I went to 90 miles per hour there. The bike feels like it has plenty of power, but it's a little bit delayed compared to, you have to go a little bit higher on the RPM to get the power compared to like the Indian Scout or the MT-09. But those have more power than this bike too, so that's to be expected. But I don't feel like it's gonna be any lack of power for me to ride by myself, or even if I want to go for a ride with my wife. Jesus Christ. So it's gonna be very loud, so I might not even include this part on the video. If I do, I'll lower the volume a little bit so you guys don't hear too much wind. Notice that on second gear, the bike does very well at slow speeds on second gear. Indian Scout, I had to switch to first gear and, you know, manage that friction zone a lot to do slow turns like that. But the second gear on this bike seems to do very well for those. It doesn't feel like the bike wants to die or anything. It has a very smooth deceleration, so if I like go fast, I let go of the throttle, it has like an engine braking, but it goes very smooth. It's not jerky at all. So I'm just trying to give you guys information on what I feel so far about the bike. It is very windy today, so I'm gonna try to lower here so you guys can hear me. Get lower. Hopefully the video doesn't turn out awful because of all this wind. So I feel like I'm getting some wind here from the hand guards. They're coming right into my face, which is kind of odd. They're coming right here, but I'm not. At any point, it doesn't feel at any point that I'm getting like wind buffeting or anything because of those. From this windshield here, I can feel clean wind. I don't get buffeting, but it's a lot of wind, of course. It's like riding a naked bike. My legs feel very comfortable. Ooh, almost hit that bird. My legs are in a very comfortable position. It doesn't feel cramped. I can stand up and just relax a bit. If I need to rest my knees, that's nice. Also go over bumps. That's one of the big things. But not that I feel like it's needed for this bike. Maybe for off-road, which I probably won't really be doing. I mean, I use the bike for commuting. Very, very nice riding. I really like this. The suspension being so plushy, it's very nice. I don't know if I even need to try the other modes. Supposedly having the suspension on dynamic makes it harder and better for sporty rides, but honestly on road mode right now I feel like it has been more than enough and very comfortable too. Very nice on the bumps. The road imperfections, that it feels very comfortable. I almost don't feel any. Like doing this right here with the Indian Scout, even the MT-09, every now and then I would just feel those big bumps and just be like, oh, like just, you know, just feel pain either like on my spine. Like Indian Scout, sometimes it would feel like my spine would just come out of the back of my neck because the bumps were so harsh. Haven't felt that at all with this bike at any moment. Not even those like bumps that throw you up and off the seat. I haven't felt any of those so far. So far I'm very happy. I'm trying to think what else I can talk about. The gas tank is not as big as I wish it could have been. I believe it's 4 gallons, and I wish they had made this a 5-gallon gas tank. It's an adventure bike, right? I know, I get it. It's like a smaller-ish adventure bike, but come on, you know, they could have made it 5 gallons. Give you a little bit more range. That would have made a big difference. Because for this reason, I almost bought the V-Strom 800. But I'm glad I didn't, because all the technology that this bike has, I'm really enjoying. It also has keyless ignition, which is very nice, so I don't forget my keys on the ignition and let the bike die like I did like 3 times with the Yamaha MT-09. Let's see, it's usually very bad around here because of all these bumps, all the imperfection on this part of the road. I'm trying to go over the bumps on purpose, you see. Very nice. Really, it's a huge difference. Wow. Yeah, it's a very big difference. The riding modes. I mean, not the riding modes, the riding styles of like this bike and like the Indian and the MT-09. This bike kind of feels like it has a little bit of each. Well, a little bit of sportiness to it. Pretty good amount of sportiness, actually. You can ride it pretty fast and aggressive if you like, I guess. But it feels more relaxed, feels very comfortable. Like it has a sportiness to it, but it in like a more settled way. Very good comfort. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Let's see, how do we change the ride modes? I believe yesterday I just pressed and held. That's the one thing too. If you want to change ride modes when you're riding, it does have cruise control, which I haven't tested yet. I believe you gotta like press and hold this. Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it changes when you're riding. You see, it's like it tried to change, but then not really. So I'm staying on 3rd gear on these small turns here, and it's going pretty well. Doesn't feel like the bike wants to die or is asking me to change gears at all. I feel like, what is this guy doing, man? Oh my god. Yeah, it goes over the bumps and imperfections so easily. Gear shift assist did something there. I don't know what it said. I guess I didn't look fast enough. I think it might be because I shifted too early. I don't know when I should be shifting on this bike yet. I still gotta get used to the power band on it. Supposedly it is a self-canceling turn signals. Let's see. It is self-canceling, yeah. Canceled already. Yeah, so generally in this area here, that's when I notice bumps a lot with the other bikes. But with this bike, it's just literally just going over everything. So I don't know what else to say about it, guys. If I'm sure eventually I'll have more things to say about it, you know, some things that I missed. So if you guys want to see more about this bike, it's my new bike, so you guys will be seeing more of it. I'm gonna make a video too on why I sold the Indian Scout. So if you guys want to see that, it'll likely be my next video, next weekend likely. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.